All right, hey, welcome back to Behind the Curve Outdoors. This week, we're going to talk about what if you don't have a bow shop and you really want to get into archery. Pyramyd Air might have the solution for that problem. And all you're going to need is a tape measure, a pencil and a calculator, and maybe a good friend to help you measure some things. Stay tuned. All right, so last week when we got my daughter set up with their new Mission Stryde 28s, we went down and saw Bill Thomas from Antler's Archery, and he put the bows in the press and put them on the scale and got them all dialed in. But what if you don't have those tools? Well, Pyramyd Air has the solution for you. If you order a bow through Pyramyd Air on select models, you can get a tune-up by a professional and have the bow shipped to you ready to shoot out of the box. That's right. Yeah, it's one of the coolest things I think I've seen in the archery world to get archers into the sport is getting a bow shipped directly to their house, pull it out of the box, and it's ready to go. Now you're going to need a couple measurements. We're going to need to measure our draw length, and we're going to need to measure from our eye to the corner of our mouth, and relatively easy enough. All you need is a tape measure to make that happen. Now, if you have a friend, it's really easy to have that friend help you out. And there's a couple different ways we can measure draw length, and I'll give you a demonstration of those right now. So one of the first ways that you can measure your draw length, right, is by your wingspan. Okay, so we're just going to lift our arms up away from our body, and you're going to measure from fingertip to fingertip, and you're going to divide that by 2.5, which will give you a pretty close estimate of what your draw length is going to be. Now, when you do this, try not to shrug your shoulders. Try not to like overextend. Don't stretch out really far. What you just want to do is keep your shoulders low and just lift them up so that your arms are parallel. If you have a friend now, that'd be the perfect time for them just to run a tape measure from fingertip to fingertip and get you that measurement. If you don't have a friend, what you can do is find yourself a straight wall, stand up straight against it, touch your fingertip to one end, raise your arms so they're parallel, and then touch the wall on the other side. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come by and I'm going to mark this spot with my handy dandy marker. Right, so we're going to put our mark here on the wall, on the door. Now, expo marker, don't use a permanent marker on your garage door. You don't want your wife to get upset at you. And then you just take your tape measure, keeping it in that same straight line, and we are going to take the measurement to the nearest quarter of an inch. Okay, so take a picture of that for you, but looks like we're about 73 3/4 is what that boils out to. So if we go 73 3/4, 73.75 divided by 2.5, we're gonna get a magical number. So the second way that you can measure draw length is, I think John Dudley kind of does this. I think I learned it from him. But all you have to do is find a straight wall, and what you want to do is stand straight up and down, look over your left or right hand, whatever hand's be holding the bow, put your knuckles flat against the surface without leaning back or leaning forward. You want to be nice and straight up and down. And what you're going to do is put that tape measure on the wall, put it to the corner of your mouth looking at your target. I'm going to take a mark here, probably a little easier if you had a friend, but this is right at 29 3/4. Okay, so it's a little bit trickier doing it this way because you're kind of trying to look and hold the tape measure, and it's a little bit goofy and you're trying to find a mark. If you have a friend and look at it, it'd be a lot easier. But I can get pretty close, and like I said, about 29 3/4, maybe a slightly strong, but again, pretty close to that 29.8 mark that we had before. All right, so a couple different ways that you can measure your draw length. All right, so the last measurement that you're going to need is going to be from the corner of your eye to the corner of your mouth, right? Now, this is really more beneficial if you have a friend with you to help, but I think you could probably accomplish the same thing with the use of your smartphone and the record feature and just turning sideways, right? And if you measure from the corner of your eye and have your camera set up so you can see the corner of your mouth with your head level and looking straight ahead, you should be able to get a good measurement. Okay, so let's see how easy it is to get a bow from PyramydAir.com. So first things first, open your web browser, go to PyramydAir.com. That's pyramid with 2 Y's. And then the first thing you want to do is make sure you log into your account, because the more time you spend with Pyramyd Air, the cooler your rewards get, right? So make sure that you have an account set up. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the tab on the right, go to Archery. We're going to select bows, and then we're going to go and select that compound bow in the center there. Now, I already have an idea of what bows I want to look for. Remember, the point behind this series is take a new bow hunter and get them into the sport as inexpensive as we possibly can with a bow that's fully adjustable and ready to go out of the box. So I am going to choose Fredbear Archery because it seems they have a good lineup that meets my specifications for this series. So I'm going to go up to filter. I'm going to go to Bear Archery. And remember, we want to keep this as inexpensive as we can. And we're going to select 250 to 500. That's going to eliminate some of those really top-end bows that we don't need to look at right now. Now we'll see there's 14 bows to select from here. Now I'm going to go scroll down because I know the bow that I'm looking for. I'm looking for the Bear Cruiser. I think it's the G4. That bow seems to fit all the parameters of this series. Lightweight, fully adjustable draw length, big adjustable draw weight on the bow so you can grow with it. And I think it's going to be a perfect fit here. So I'm going to add that to my cart. And we're going to scroll down now. We're going to proceed to checkout. Now, when we proceed to checkout, you're going to notice right in the middle of the screen there's a complete bow setup. I'm going to hit that little circle there. Now, this is going to take us to the part that's really cool from Pyramyd Air. They're going to set up your bow for you without you even being there with the measurements that we took earlier. This is a cool thing. So if you click that little down arrow that says services, and the next thing that we're going to see is like there's a list of things to fill out, and those measurements we already took. So then the first thing is the draw length. Now we know that my draw length is 29.5 inches. And so we're going to put that in. Our draw weight, I'm going to put in 60 pounds for myself because I've been, I like 60 pounds. That's a comfortable weight for me when I'm sitting on deer stands. I can pull that pretty easily. If you're new to archery on your, if you're over 16, I'd say go 40, 45. If you're under that 16 age, I would say 30. And remember, the point behind this bow is that it's fully adjustable and it's got a wide draw weight range. So if it's too light when you start, we'll show you how to increase that poundage by putting an Allen wrench into that screw and tightening down the limb bolts to make it a little bit harder to draw. So start light. It's more comfortable, you learn better form, and then we can always add poundage, right? That's the whole purpose behind this bow setup. Now, the next thing that we have to enter in is going to be the peep height. Now, I would like the expert to determine my peep height. I'm going to push that little circle in there that says, yes, I would. Now, Pyramyd Air's got a formula that they've got figured out when you enter in the distance between the corner of your eye and the corner of your mouth to be able to set your peep height according to your knock point. Now remember, mine was 3 inches, so we're going to select that. Next thing is on the list is going to be arrow selection. Now, if you buy arrows from PyramydAir.com, I definitely would push that like, yes, I would like my arrows cut by the expert. The bow technician setting up your bow is going to cut those arrows to your draw length. It's going to make it easy. I have arrows I'm going to shoot already on my bench, so I am going to bypass getting arrows cut. So I'm going to get rid of that section. Now, I would go with the 100 to 120, picking between the 100 and 125 grain tips. Go 100 grain if you're starting out because it seems like that's the most common. If you go to Walmart or Fleet Farm or Farm and Fleet or wherever, it seems like there's a wide selection of 100 grain broadheads out there you can grab right off the shelf without having to worry about like, wow, what's the difference between the grains? Is my arrow going to hit differently? 100 grain is a great place to start. Now, this bow from Pyramyd Air is going to come with a case. It's going to ship directly to you in the case. You can't unselect the case that is provided in this list. But if you do the bow setup through the bow tech at Pyramyd and you get the case and the bow from them, you're going to save $10 on your order, right? So again, for the new bow hunter getting into this, you're automatically going to get a hard side case to protect your investment, which I think is well worth the money. Now on the right hand side, you'll see that there's a bunch of things that you can upgrade if you would so choose to upgrade, from your peep sight to arrows, rest to your quiver to your bow sight, stabilizer. All those things can be upgraded. If you just click on the arrows on the right hand side next to that piece of equipment, it'll give you a drop down list, and then you can see, you can scroll over and you can select from the upgraded sights that Pyramyd Air has in stock. Now, again, you don't need a $400 bow sight when you first start out. Yes, granted, that thing is cool. It's got a ton of features. It's pretty awesome. You don't need it. And if you really wanted to upgrade something on this list, I would upgrade the sight, but I would go with this sight right here, the IQ sight. It's got a retina lock feature on it, which helps a new archer learn when they're torquing the bow. And if I had to spend money somewhere on an upgrade, it would definitely be on that sight. But I don't think it's needed. We're trying to get into the sport as relatively inexpensively as we can. And so I am going to stick with whatever comes with the bow. All right, so with that, that is pretty much about it, right? Now, if you want to save a little bit of extra money on this purchase, if you scroll down before you go to the Proceed to Checkout button and you enter in the discount code of BTCO, that will save you 10% on this order. Now, I would go ahead and verify that, but I've already used this code once and it won't let me use it more than once. But if you're looking to save 10%, go ahead, type that code in there, hit Proceed to Checkout. There we go. I'm not going to finish the checkout process and share my private information with the world, but we're going to get this bow checked out. We're going to get it shipped to my house, and in a couple days, we'll unbox it, and we will see just how good this setup is from Pyramyd Air. All right, well, that's all the time I have for this week. With a few quick measurements, you can plug those into Pyramyd Air, get a bow shipped to your house, and be ready to be bow hunting by this fall. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is on this one, because I don't think you need a $2,000 setup to go whitetail hunting or get yourself involved in archery. And I'm going to order one of these bows from Pyramyd Air this afternoon, have it shipped to the house, and I'm going to spend the rest of the summer shooting that bow with my girls in preparation for whitetail season. Once I harvest a deer with it, one of the lucky subscribers here is going to get a chance to win that bow. To enter to win, all you have to do is like, share, and subscribe. Enter new bow hunter in the comment section down below, and we will get you entered to win this bow once I get a deer harvested. Remember to aim small, because you'll hit them all that way. We'll see you next week.